Episode 95 is brought to you by Auntie and Friends. Reading the Constitution every Thursday at 8 p.m. on your gay Aunties IG Live. You know, we read the Constitution. I gotta check it out. And with that being said, my name is Hanifa Walida.
And I am Red Summer.
And we are your gay aunties. And today we are 2020 balling because we welcome Alicia Garza to the show.
Yeah.
Hey, babies, if this is your first time here on your gay aunties and you have no idea where you are or who we are, we are the aunties that you would catch every now and then when you was a baby just staring at you like, mm-hmm. And then as you grew up, that stare became a signal to say, whenever you're ready, baby. Whenever you're ready.
Whenever. Just whenever. I got you. Your Gay Aunties is a bi-weekly live show and podcast, right? Both of them that is centered around queer adulting. So every other Sunday, we go live on YouTube where we answer your letters about life, love, and all of the entangled parts of your good gay life, right? So subscribe below. And if you miss us live here, Sundays at 1 p.m., then we come to you one more again on Wednesdays with our audio podcast by the same name, which you can find anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Say words. So now that you know where you are, welcome home, child. We are your gay aunties, and we are here for the children.
Absolutely.
All right, y'all. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited. We were singing that early. You just can't hide it. Yes.
No.
You got to no in. All right. So now we have a great show coming up. We have activist Alicia Garza. And what a week to have her on. I mean,
yeah.
You could pin a tail, on the day in 2020. It would be a good time to have her on.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But even our current day heroines need a little work-life balance. Mm-hmm. So Alicia Garza is here with us in an auntie capacity today. Ooh, right?
Yeah.
So not just here to work, we need to play, right? Mm-hmm. So later on, she will help us read some letters. And if you have any questions for Alicia, please get them ready, especially if you are here with us live. Go ahead and send those in the chat, okay? We have some auntie gems and our view spotlight and follow me.
Oh, yeah. I like this week's follow me.
Yes. So hit the subscribe button below and start texting your folks to join us here on the live at youtube.com/yourgayaunties.
Hey, y'all. Okay. Let's all just check in for a quick minute with this week.
I mean, like, are we even surprised anymore at this point? How these?
You know what? I am. I'm okay. Maybe surprised is not the right word. No, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised, but I'm always saying, "Wow, how far why they gonna go to keep Whitey alive?" What heights does Whitey got to go just to keep this semblance of I am great and mighty and power.
Yeah.
Power. What is with these people?
That's true. And so we have oh my God, I even get frustrated starting to discuss it. The Breonna Taylor judgment. Well, I guess, I don't even know. Is this a judgment? What they just decided they weren't going to do any of what was just and right to do.
I saw a picket sign. Somebody said the law did what it was written to do for who it was written to protect. Something thereabouts. Yeah. And that's basically what we're dealing with. And the insanity that some people don't understand. It's almost like the law is the law is the law, but the law is always made to be interpreted based on whatever culture the law is in. So whoever's on the shit end of that, who people don't like in the culture, they get the shit into the law.
Yeah.
And here we are yet again.
Like, really? Already? And then it makes you, so people were peaceful and people waited, right? People were upset and people rioted. The result is going to be the same either way. Right? And so there's a sense of helplessness and hopelessness. There is a sense of rage that is building. And then there's also a sense, I've had this conversation 3 times, especially with the passing of Supreme Court Justice Ginsburg and this Breonna Taylor situation happening and all of the other situations that happened. I've been having the conversation more and more. People are like, okay, but when I am able to leave America, where can I go? Like people who have always talked to me, just like, you just need to sit down somewhere. You always trying to go, right? They're like, okay, so like, how do I get my family out?
Yeah, like, that's what my homeboy.
Where do we go?
Yeah, my homeboy in Paris was like, I've been trying to get my mother out. I was like, that sounds like somebody else. I'm trying to get my mother out the country. I don't want my 80-year-old mother there. Basically, it's the cootie death trap for older people. You know what I mean? And then it's the logistics of not being able to leave, period. Nobody want us.
Yeah.
And because a lot of us don't travel, not quiet as kept, but because a lot of us don't travel, that's not a real thing for a lot of people. Like that paradigm shift of not being accepted, taking your Americanness for granted when you travel, and that being like done, at least for now. Yeah. There's a lot of people who do not relate to that and how that is connected to a sense of security and safety and liberty.
And absolutely. And so there's a lot of conversation around like, who is American? When are you American? Because this is coming on the heels of September 11th, where we were supposed to all be reconnected in our humanity or our identity of Americanness and unity and blah, blah, blah. When we see that you still have to have Black Lives Matter on the back of the NBA jerseys and like all of this, like all of these things are happening simultaneously. And it's crazy not to feel crazy about it, right? It's crazy not to watch these things happen and really feel like, if I'm not in a state of, as James Baldwin said, like, if I am not in a constant state of rage, like, am I missing something? Yeah. Like, is something wrong with me if I'm not trying to pack up and get out of here? Like, for real, I have friends my Black friends on the south side of Chicago that's like, okay, can I get into Mexico? If I sneak into Mexico, then like
and I'm conflicted, and I don't want because we're gonna talk a lot about this today. I am conflicted because there's a part of me that I want to be here for the fight. I actually believe in the initial intent around why this country was founded, though we were not initially a part of the conversation, doesn't mean that I can't be a change maker in my own country. So there's a part of me that feels an allegiance to really, can we see this through? Can we see if there is another side to this experiment? And part of me is like, okay, so Norway, can I deal with all of the white people? But the healthcare, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So Tojan, it's just about, trying to find this balance between our anger and our peace, and I guess finding peace within our anger so that we can make clear decisions moving forward is, well, what we're here for, at least for this moment of time that we spend together. And one of the things we do, guys, is we really like to bring you guys into the show because we know you guys are going through a lot, and, we're all trying to figure things out. And we have this a part of the show where we love to feature like one of you and what you do that others should know about and follow, right? If you follow your gay aunties on Instagram, then, you could be a part of the show, essentially. So this Follow Me. Yeah. All right. For episode 95. All right. Follow me. Follow me. Follow me. Yeah. From I am underscore Kalila. I am underscore Kalila. I had to ask her how to pronounce her name, because I said, this is like 5 different ways I can pronounce this name. How you got it written here, honey?
Yes.
But y'all should know that Kalila is a life and spiritual coach, helping LGBTQ experience love and peace with their spirituality and sexuality. She's also a fairly new IG follower of your gay aunties. And when I happened upon her page, I could tell by the freeze frame that one of her posts was fixing to say something. Okay. So like it was a prayer, like outside of any denomination, as she explains, you'll see in the video, but it's one of those kind of knee deep prayers, for us as a people. So this is like one of the children saying, y'all, let's just pray together again, outside of denomination. And I won't play all of it. I'm just gonna play a bit of it because it was a 13-minute go in. All right. But I do encourage you guys to go to her page at IM_KAYLYELAJ. IM_Kalila. And here you go.
We all, when it comes down to a higher power, I refer to God. You know what I'm saying? Like, I refer to God, and all of us may call God something different. We may call it source. We may call it light. We might not call it anything. But the one thing that we can agree on is that God is nameless, is unexplainable. The same thing that has created the clouds and make your heart beat and make your lungs breathe is the same thing that created all of us. So I'm going to go ahead into prayer. Like I said, it's not any particular religious affiliation, but however you reach into God and however you connect with God, I just ask you to go into prayer right now. God, we all look at this craziness right now of COVID-19 and the pandemic. But God, if we could take this opportunity to look at it as an opportunity, God, an opportunity to go within, an opportunity to connect, God, an opportunity for us to go in and say, where's the untapped potential, God? Where are you taking me, God? Where is my purpose? Where do you want me to go? Where is it that you want me to lead? How can I help, God? With everything that's going on in the world, with the racial injustices, the suppression, God, how can we play a role in that, God? What is our own divine purpose, our own piece of puzzle that we could put in and help, our brothers and sisters, God? We ask you to cover families, God. We ask you to cover babies, God. We ask you, as these babies go to school, God, that you cover them, that people that are essential workers, that you cover them. For those of us that are dealing with bouts of depression, God, and anxiety, God, that you draw us near, that, God, you're not anywhere out there, God, you're in here. And for us to quiet the mind and to remember that you're within us, God. And the times that we face anxiety, God, the times that we face depression, God, the times that we just don't know where to go, God, that we turn within and we come to you, and in that subtle voice, God, and to remember God is in the breath.
Yeah. Whew.
God is in the breath. Yes.
Yes.
No, I really appreciated her taking that moment, and that we can turn around and share that moment with you all. Because sometimes we just need someone to say a word, whatever that word is, that kind of just get us right for that moment. So we hope that Kalila did that for y'all in that moment.
It's timely for me, because I told you, like, that feeling of like, what is going on? Like, it grips me sometimes, and just being like, okay, so what am I supposed to be doing? Like, exactly. I'm here in this time to do what in particular, and say that part, to put my puzzle piece in there, that I'm contributing in this way to what's happening. Okay.
This is our, outside of our personal lives, and this is how me and Red and Kiera, putting your gay aunties is our small contribution to hopefully empowering you guys to, one, definitely vote, to exercise, to exercise the feeling of empowerment when you vote. That's one of the things we're really trying to push, but also just giving you some sense of peace of mind. Like, everyone needs to find what that piece is for them, and be okay with whatever size that is, because it may be small to you, but it may be seismic for someone else.
Absolutely.
You know, so ashe.
Yes, thank you so much. And if you all want some of your work or your passion or just your beautiful queer selves featured here on Your Gay Aunties, follow me, then just follow us on IG at Your Gay Aunties or subscribe below here on YouTube. Just do your thing in your feed, just what you already are doing. And just like Kalila, who followed us last week, you could be on the show.
Just that quick.
Yeah.
Come with it. All right, we're gonna keep on elevating the children.
Yeah.
We're gonna try, because you know y'all messy. But we're gonna keep elevating the children, right? And go into our we're gonna go into our first letter for the show. Let's do it.
Here's your letter.
Okay, this letter is from Ren from Brooklyn. Okay.
Nice.
All right. Hey, gay aunties, I'm Ren. I have a question for y'all. So I have an old boyfriend from 7 years ago that continues to pop in and out of my life. One moment he's spilling his heart out to me, then he disappears only to like my post or reach out to me about my mom's birthday. What? Okay, whatever. My sisters or even mine. I love him so much. And recently I sent him a message about his birthday and I haven't gotten a response in 2 days. Should I truly end this relationship that we keep trying to hold on to? This classic to me, baby. Okay. I mean, this is 1 + 1 = 2. This is physics. This is not pouring water into a cup. Is it half empty or half full? If someone does not reciprocate, or rather, what they're giving to you is not reciprocated in a particular way. So, in other words, this person sometimes says, "Hey," and you're like, "Okay, hi," and then you're like, "Hi." He's like, "Crickets, crickets, crickets," and it's like this kind of random. Basically, what you are is an itching post, or whenever this person needs to scratch an itch, whenever this person needs to get some sort of bounce back or reflection, like, oh, I'm alive, someone still likes me, someone still cares for me. Like they may be going through some whatever, and they're using you as a tool, reaching out every now and then, maybe when they're bored, you know. But at the end of the day, are you an active part of this person's everyday? Are they drawing you into their everyday? And if not, tell them stop playing games and keep it moving. I'm sorry. Bottom line, that's an old game, homie. And he's like counting on whatever reserved feelings you may have. You know, I'm not even saying this person is malicious. I'm just saying they're taking you for granted. They're taking you for granted. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and y'all know I always go to the whole other side, right? Immediately. Should I truly end this relationship that we keep trying to hold on to? What's the relationship?
And where do we? Where do we?
Because the relationship really could just be that we check in on each other every year or so. Like, you know, one of you may feel that that is the extent of the relationship. If both of you don't agree that this is the extent of the relationship, then there is the problem, right? So if you are expecting this thing to be more frequent than it is, or you're expecting an immediate response to your birthday message, I don't know how hype his page is, but I know it's hard to respond to all of those happy birthday Facebook messages or whatever, right? So maybe he just ain't looked at them, you know. Maybe he saw yours and was like, you just in with the rest. That's possible. Maybe he busy with who he be busy with.
And he holler at you when he's not busy.
Yeah. And so what the parameters of that relationship are might not be shared, right? And so if for 7 years he's been able to pop in and out whenever he felt like it, then you sound crazy today. Like, you need to be consistent with me. Why now? Right? When you haven't asked or required any of this in 7 years, maybe you are the one holding on.
Ooh. So
because,
basically,
you are the one who's expecting something more of this, or that he's even thinking of you in this. I'm gonna come back in and get my. He might have just seen your mama scroll on the thing and be like, "Oh, hey, Miss Jackson," you know, and just say a little hey, like it might not be.
That's real as hell. It basically saying that what you're feeling, it may not be what is. What you're feeling may not be what is. What you're feeling may not be what is. There is an objective truth that's based on both your subjective realities, and you just working on your own subjective reality that this person ain't hollering back like you would like them to. And just to bounce on something Red said, relationships are not a template. They grow, they move, they groove, they shrink, they expand. And sometimes you can have this incredible relationship with somebody. I mean, all out love, you about 5 feet from the altar, and that shit can shrink over time to, hey girl, how your mama doing? How you doing, baby? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's okay. That's okay. You can have friendships that are, I have friendships that are well over 25, 30 years. And honestly, sometimes we just call each other like, oh, COVID happened. Girl, you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. But we snap right back into it because we have all that time behind us. So don't put so much pressure on what a relationship, platonic or not, should be, and what you feel someone's expectations are based on your actions. You know? Always be open to, they were just scrolling to show you it was your mama's birthday, and they said, because they ain't got nothing against your mom and they had nothing against you. And you should be happy with that.
Yeah.
It don't be got.
And I know I used to have friends who like somebody would look their way and they'd be like, "Oh, she wants me," and I'm like, maybe, maybe not. Like, maybe she was looking at the box of cereal right past you. Like, we don't really know. Like, and so,
maybe she constipated and she just made that face.
Right. It's all kind of reasons behind like why people do things, and if you don't know those reasons, like if you don't know that he's checking in with you to hook back up, or if you don't know that he's checking in with you to rekindle this relationship in some kind of way, I would just err on the side of caution that he's probably just, doing what people do on social media.
Like Reggie G says, you and the person you're in a relationship with get to set the rules as change comes. You better work, Reggie. See, we got Uncle up in the chat room.
Yeah. And so I would just chill. Is my advice.
Right. Chill, baby.
It don't even have to be that.
Yeah, and just be open for love in other directions, and don't, you know what I'm saying? Chill out.
Yeah, and when he pop up, hey boo, hey, all right, you done? I'm done. Okay, peace. Like, it can just be relaxed.
Ashe. Well, thank you, darling. Yeah. Thank you, Ren. We got another letter coming up later on.
Absolutely, and we always enjoy y'all's letters, and we are excited every time we get one. So if you want to write your gay aunties, you can do so at yourgayaunties.com or yourgayaunties@gmail.com. There you go. And then you can DM us at yourgayaunties on Instagram. Mostly Instagram, right?
Yeah, Instagram. I know the Twitter's on Twitter away. I can't do it. All right.
And you can also go to yourgayaunties.com and click the button Write Your Aunties. You can do that as well. So if you're like go to the website type person, if you're go to IG, go to Gmail, whichever place you like to go to, even if you're on Twitter, I might just go ahead and check those too.
But we're less likely.
If you wrote a letter there, if you just really need to reach us, just reach out to us. We are here for you, baby. Absolutely.
And we got some stuff. We got some stuff.
Let's dig into our auntie bags today and see what gems we have for you. Mm-hmm. We talking about a gem right there, honey.
But because I voted for Shirley Chisholm. Yes. Okay. All right. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna jump off this gem. All right. I'm really excited. So I woke up like 3:00 in the morning last week. I went to bed stressed, unfortunately, listening to the news, and it was we was having another Trump moment, and it was like a constitutional crisis. Well, we've been in constitutional crisis since like 2016, but
right.
But it really started weighing on me, and I woke up like, holy shit, I've never read the Constitution. Right? Not from top to bottom, not like going the preamble, yada yada bing bong, right? And I was like, okay. But so I decided to grab some friends and I said, you know what, let's break up the Constitution. Let's go on IG Live, and like me and a friend each week, we're like breaking down one article from the Constitution, just as novices, like what's going on. And we had such a ball. So this past Thursday, I did it with my friend Shelly Nicole from Shelly Nicole's Black Bush. And she was all nerdy about it. She's like, ooh, girl, I'm getting primers. Ooh, right? But I want to just highlight, I mean, there's a lot in there, just in the first article, right? Mm-hmm. But I just want to highlight just a couple of things that really stood out to us, some things that we learned and some things that we want to just highlight. Because the point of understanding the Constitution is that when you understand the law, and we take kind of our subjectivity out of it, how we've been treated under the law, and actually understanding the foundation that we are a part of the people and that we are a part of this foundation that we all are kind of living on and trying to survive on, then I really slowly started to feel more empowered. So one of the things that I wanted to highlight were the first three words of the Constitution: we the people. Now, people kind of highlight this like, yes, we the people, yes, this is yes. But I want to be really clear. We the people is not like, yes, the Constitution is for us, but it's also written by us. I know they say Madison and so-and-so and so-and-so wrote it, but it was written. They didn't say it wasn't my king of the United States in order to form. It wasn't we the dynasty of the United States. No, we the people. And I think it's something that's really not understood, that we wrote this based on our history at the time. All right. And I also love in just the preamble how people overlook words like in order to form, establish justice, ensure tranquility, right? Promote. All of these words are words of action. All of these words say that we are this is a work in progress. Okay. This is something we need to create. Not like it's already here. Okay.
Right.
So just reread the preamble and really kind of look at those words. It's like, oh, so the straight up intent behind it was, okay, we're going to create something here, y'all. This here an experiment. Let's see what happens. And then the rest of the Constitution is, okay, if this happened, boom. If this happened, boom. We're going to set it up like boom, 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 so we can see what happened. All right. So that was one thing. Another thing is the all infamous 3/5 clause. Okay. So me and Shelly is over here getting to this part where it says, basically they're saying who can be taxed. Okay. And it says it only can include non-taxed Indians. People like, non-taxed Indians? What the hell that mean? That means basically foreigners. People who aren't us. Okay. A little hint of xenophobia, but whatever. Can't tax, non-tax Indians, and 3/5 of all other persons. All right. Now, me and Shelly was like, Shelly was really like, so why the arbitrary number of 3/5? Why not a half? Why not 2/3? Why not a quota? You know what I mean? And I was like, damn. And I could not find the answer on Google, but what I did find was a clarification. Okay. Yes, this idea of a 3/5 clause isn't this idea of placing less value on us as people, right? But a lot of times when we read it, we think they are literally saying that these niggers are 3/5 of a person. Okay. Mm-hmm. They thought we was people enough to even put this clause in there because the clause is there so the southern states wouldn't bitch that we wouldn't have no power in the House of Representatives because, ain't much of us down here, but it's us and these Negroes, right. So can we count some of them? Okay, can we count a quarter of them? Okay, can we count 3/5? Okay, we can work 3/5. Then we can be more powerful in this new government. So just so we have clarity, because I think sometimes we can be distracted by emotional digs in our relationship with this country. And sometimes we need to see shit for what it was. Still with some fucked upness, but not necessarily how we have been told that it is. Okay. And the last thing, and with the most beautiful thing of Article 1 of the Constitution, was the punishment for impeachment. This is where the founding fathers showed their shade, honey. I didn't even know this was in here. So if the Senate convicts, okay, remember the House impeaches and the Senate convicts. But if he gets through to the point where this nigga gets evicted, all right, this is what the founding father says should happen to a motherfucker if they get evicted. I'm like, he fucking living in, convicted. Judgment in cases of impeachment shall not extend further than, so they can't do any more than the following: 2, removal from office, and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States. But the party convicted shall, nevertheless, be liable and subject to indictment, trial, judgment, and punishment according to law. So they basically said, if your ass gonna run for president and then be president and fucking play yourself, you ain't gonna have no honor on our land. You can't make no freaking money. You just might as well go. Okay. And I thought that was some really cool shade. So we're having like a lot of fun. This upcoming Thursday. All right. I'm really excited. I have my friend J. Bob Alada, who's going to help me read Article 2 of the Constitution. All right. Yes. All right. Bobby, aka Barbarino. And if you're not aware, Bob was recently the ED for Australia. So this is the woman that has funded many brilliant projects. Probably some of y'all listening right now, like, oh, word, that's her. Yes, well, word, that's her. We're gonna have fun with Bob reading Article 2, and that's Thursdays 8 p.m. on your Gay Aunties IG Live. See y'all there. Woo! Constitution. Yes.
No, that's really exciting. And I feel like I haven't looked at any of this since I was a social studies teacher in the early 2000s. And still feel like I need to go back over it and just get my mind together around what is included in this document that we say we know about.
Exactly. It's really some interesting stuff. It's totally a nerdy thing. Let's nerd out, y'all.
Absolutely. Okay. So I guess in keeping with the same concept of our rights, I came across a young lady on Instagram, and her name is @_.talaya, TALAYAH. Okay. So I want to show this quick clip, and then we can kind of talk about how this sister is exercising her rights.
Hi, my name is Talia Walker. I'm in 10th grade and I attend Baltimore Polytechnic Institute, and I want to speak on the reality, on the situation, on things that are happening at my school that are not being addressed by the administrators or the staff. There are students who want to speak about Black Lives Matter. Breonna Taylor, we want to talk about these things in our classes, and we're being actively ignored by our administration. So we need your help to get this into schools. Because in history class, they tell us we teach history so the past isn't repeated. But the history that's being made right now, they're not talking about that. They won't talk about Black Lives Matter. I've had one teacher out of my 7 teachers bring up Black Lives Matter in class. 1 out of 7. That's crazy, right? There are Black students fearing for their lives every day, and they can't even go to school and talk about it. They can't even come on their Zoom class and say, can we talk about this today? Because this is on my mind. This is weighing heavy on my heart. The decision that was made not to indict Breonna Taylor's killers is weighing heavy on my heart. And we can't talk about it in my class. Does that sound right to you? Because it doesn't sound right to me. Especially not when a lot of our administrators and staff are black. Not when a lot of the population of Poly is black. The students are black. People of color. Because I know on 9/11, every class has something to say about what happened. And I'm not downplaying that. I'm not saying it needs to be brought down. I'm not saying we need to stop talking about 9/11 because it's tragic. It's truly tragic. But you know what's tragic also? The things happening in the black community and that they're not being talked about in public schools. I don't think I've heard any other teacher besides my English teacher talk about it. No one. They could open the discussion and say, this is a free space to say what you have to say, to talk about what's weighing heavy on your heart, to talk about the decisions made in your community that affect you every day. But no one's doing that. None of the teachers are doing that. And that's truly disgusting to me. The fact that our school brands itself as inclusive to everyone, but is ignoring a whole population, a whole demographic in your school. You're ignoring us. We don't like that. And we're going to be heard, whether you like it or not. We're going to email North Avenue.
Yes,
we're going
ma'am.
to make petitions. We're going to talk about it. You can mute me in Zoom. You can turn off the chats in Zoom. You can do all of that. But I'm going to continue to speak about what I think is right. I'm going to continue to speak about justice for Breonna Taylor. I'm going to continue to speak about justice for Elijah McClain. I'm going to continue to speak about justice for all of those people on that poster back there. I'm going to continue to do it. Do you know why I'm going to continue to do it? Because that's the right thing to do. The right thing to do is to talk about it in schools, to educate students who don't know what's going on. Because there are people who don't know what's happening. There are. But the right thing to do is to talk about it in school, to give unbiased opinions, to take into consideration your students, to think about students who face this every single day. That situation is unpredictable for a person like me. We're not talking about issues that affect people who look like this, who have this skin color, who are darker than me, who are lighter than me, but who are African American. We're not talking about that. And that's truly disgusting, Polly. And I don't think I can get in trouble for this video, but if I do, I'm glad I got in trouble because it's good purpose. It's for a good purpose.
That's right. Yes, John Lewis. Yes, ma'am. That's right. You in good trouble, girl. You in good trouble. But that's what
So you see why I love her so much. I was like, yes.
I just got like
one.
What? I'm sorry. Go on.
No,
I just got a flashback that I was literally that little girl in high school. When I was in high school, everything was South Africa, apartheid, and I was big. My teachers, and I used to always bomb my teachers' boards like simple free South Africa. You know what I'm saying? I put it in the corner. Just everybody see it when they come in, and they always make me erase it. Every single one of them motherfuckers make me erase it. I'm like, you don't think this is wrong? This don't read wrong to you, right?
Yeah.
You know? So, I'm so feeling her. Oh, like we got to do something, and also her exercising her sense of. And this is back to our whole thing. Her exercising her sense of I am sitting in the law. I am sitting on the right side of the law. I am sitting on the right side. Period. And so I'm going to, now that I know that I can stand firm in this position, I'm going to exercise. I'm going to speak out. This is something that. I won't keep saying this is something that the Constitution is just trying to reaffirm, but because it's said the way you said, we don't put it in the context of now. We are a country that should be reaffirming this attitude 24/7 at every opportunity. The younger, the better.
Absolutely. So right now, my students are creating protest art, right? So we have a whole unit that we're doing around, creating a campaign and creating a visual to go along with the campaign. And I remember reading one of the responses where the children were like, I know there's one student in particular was saying, I know there's a lot of stuff going on like in the news, but like, I don't really know anything about that. So can I pick climate change? And I was like, Yeah, don't speak on it if you don't know about it. Absolutely. If you've been studying about climate change, like pick climate change.
Please.
But to know that so many students like just are able to not know what's happening, right? And so I want to thank Talea for this message. I just want to say that we stand with the Black students at Poly, and I'm gonna go one step further, like with that, because of this. I know that my students are doing this activity around injustices, but like you're right, I've mentioned events in general, and I haven't given them a chance to just really take over the floor and talk about what's been going on with them and how they're feeling about it. And you've inspired me, sis. So I'm listening, and I'm encouraging others to listen to you as well. And I want to not just listen, but I want to change.
Say word. I thought you were going to say that she can audit your class because you're the teacher she wants. You know what I mean? You're the teacher she wants.
I can send her the Zoom link. We can.
I'm just saying, these kids, forget college. Kids will start auditing on the high school level. Like, you got a good teacher? Can I jump in?
Absolutely. I have a 10th grade class. We can definitely get some conversation going, and I might just do that too. Like invite her to join us. We go to school a lot later than most other schools, so she might be free at that time.
I'm saying, I think she would appreciate you.
Great idea.
Just as she would, of course, would appreciate our guests.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. I should have grabbed my reading glasses. I want to. Okay. All right, y'all. Our guest work. Or got your aunties pumped. All right. Our guest work in the world precedes her. All right, Alicia Garza is co-creator of the Black Lives Matter movement and principal at Black Futures Lab, who they recently conducted the largest U.S. Black census in a good minute. All right, so yes, so she that auntie that if you didn't fill out the U.S. census, she will roll up on you like you gonna fill out somebody's census.
We need that.
Because you count, baby. Because you count. So Alicia, she is an activist, organizer, author, now podcaster, cheeseburger enthusiast, and your auntie that has stopped by for tea. Let's welcome to your gay aunties, Alicia Garza.
Hey. Yes. I'm over here side splitting right now. This is so good.
Oh man,
I'm cracking up already.
I
know. Yes. Okay. So Talea is all of us. Literally all of us. And also, yeah, I am your auntie who's out here like, you count too, baby. It's true.
Yeah.
It's actually true. And I just want to say my life matters too, which is why your auntie is over here looking like she just woke up, because she did. It's Sunday. So
and she's coming from the West Coast. So
yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I tried to put on some makeup. I was like, you know what? No.
I know. I was like, oh girl, go put your face and come back. I'm like, she don't have glasses. Well, I'm glad you can see.
Exactly. I was like, I ain't got it today. I'm sorry.
Well, it's so great to see you, beat or no beats. Right? We are so excited to have you as a guest.
It's really cool to be here. Oh, thank you so much for having me. This is dope. Thank you.
Yes. So, we formulated a couple of questions because when we have these rare opportunities to interview our friends in this capacity anyway, sometimes we want to ask you the questions that you're not asked. At least I tried. All right. Okay. Yeah, I know. I had a little time in the limelight too. It's like, you want to ask me that question fucking again?
Yes.
My favorite color is... Okay, yeah, this is how Black Lives Matter started. I started the hashtag.
Exactly. I'm like, yo, Could you Google that? And let's talk about some other stuff. Yep. Thank you for that.
Sure.
And we agreed we wanted to balance this experience out a little bit as well. So I'm glad we're already in here and we're laughing and we are just making that safe space for each other, because that's important as well. We be stressed, baby.
Listen, belly laughs are my self-care.
Say word.
In case that was going to be a question you asked.
Well, like John Lovett says, what a week.
Right.
All right. So here's a question. All right. It's somewhat an elusive question. So just to quote RBG, all right, when she was talking to a bunch of young people about leadership, she said, you need to lead in a way that encourages others to join you. All right. So for young people who are questioning if they have leadership in them, for those who are already kind of on that road and they're just beginning to navigate it, what is something that they don't tell you about leadership?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I think the thing they don't tell you about leadership is that you're supposed to build other leaders. It's never just supposed to be you on any kind of platform or stage. And actually, that's not leadership either. I've always been taught that organizing is the art of addition, not subtraction. And that the whole point, right, is to create many more people who are active and engaged and leading the process of change for themselves and for others. And so you're not a leader necessarily if you just have a bunch of followers on Twitter. Like, that doesn't make you a leader. Are you Billy?
But that's what we're told, though. Like, once you have a big following, then you pop it.
Yeah, no, and it drives me crazy because then people will be like, how can I be an influencer like you? I'm like, a what? Look, the point here is for Black folks to get free, and Black folks are not going to get free because you like Moses on Twitter. Black folks will get free when we build power in our communities and in this country for Black people. And that is going to require millions of more people on our side. So that's the work. And if you're successful, by the time your life is over, you have developed hopefully thousands of leaders who can carry this fight forward.
Yeah.
We talk about ancestors a lot on this show, and you don't even necessarily have to be an ancestor in the traditional sense of having to pass on. Right. But if you do work at points in your life, you never know who you're affecting, that work then influences, for lack of a better word, influences them to create greater work.
That's right.
So sometimes you are kind of naturally a leader and you don't know. Sometimes your leader don't even know you're being a leader. You're just having a moment.
That's right.
Someone happens to hear that moment.
Or you're just doing what you're supposed to do. Yeah. Right? It's not it's not rocket science, and people don't have to be like born extraordinary. It's just you have to care, and you have to be willing to do something about it. And I agree with RBG. You have to be able to do something about it in a way that people want to join you. Otherwise, you wildin'. It's okay to wild out, you know what I'm saying? But that's not being a leader. There is a difference between them.
And so what it's making me think about, like, and I'm sitting here just like staring into space, like, because I'm like, a lot of people believe that their activism is solely in my yelling, right? Or my statement of the problem, right? Like, I said, this is bad.
That's right.
I'm a leader in my community.
Right. Correct. If it wasn't so true, I'd probably be laughing harder. But I think, I think actually that it's harder, and this isn't better or worse. I mean, in some cases, it is actually revolutionary to name the problem because nobody will. You know, when we created Black Lives Matter, I mean, people were acting like we, I don't know, like we were trying to take the world out. They were like, what you mean? Why are you talking about Black? Why can't you say all or people of color lives? I was like, oh, wow, this is a mess.
Yeah.
But then there are also points. Oh my God, I have a hummingbird outside my window. How pretty. And
good sign. Omen, exactly.
Omen. But the other part of it is, frankly, we need people to reshape this society. And I think a lot of us are clear about what's wrong. We're clear that something's wrong. We're clear that things don't work the way they're supposed to work. But that doesn't motivate people to take action. Actually, what motivates people to take action is your vision for change and how it gets done. And so that there is the sweet spot that I think we have to get into and really build our muscles around. And it's hard. Like I think about this all the time. Like, okay, if I got to redesign the government, how would it work? Right?
Yeah.
And usually we can talk about like, oh, I'd have Black women and queer people and trans. Okay, cool. Yeah.
But those are not actions. That is
like, what would they do? Correct. How would they do it? You know what I'm saying?
And do I gotta like all of them?
Correct.
I don't like everybody that's queer.
Correct. And is it like one government or is it like a lot of little governments? And then do they have meetings? Do they kick it? Like, how do they communicate? Like, I think about this stuff all the time and it's very difficult. But the thing is, sometimes there's openings and ruptures like this one where you actually have an opportunity to win people to your side and sometimes even to start to build that world that you imagine. So I think Trump is going to win.
Whoa.
I think he's going to steal the election. Let me say it that way. And on the off chance that the man doesn't, and we win, then what?
Yeah.
Not sure. Then what?
So that's leadership, right?
Absolutely.
Because Joe Biden ain't gonna get us there, child. And yes, I'm voting for him. For everybody gonna be like, I don't say anything about Joe Biden.
I already got my sticker. Okay.
I'm waiting for
Exactly.
Just speaking on Joe Biden, and I try not to shit on him so much, only because I just try to have clarity around it.
Facts.
And it's like I like to mitigate my expectations so I'm not disappointed and I know what the hell I got to do.
That's right.
Yeah. The only thing him and even Kamala, not for nothing. I don't know the woman, but whatever. All right. Or even hey, listen.
Yeah.
Baseline, she's gonna do what Barack did. There's a whole generation that will grow up with a Black woman as vice president. She do just that. Cool. All right.
Yeah.
But the only thing I expect from them too is to hold the motherfucking line. I need y'all to hold the line. Please, can you just get us back in order a little bit so we can fight again? Because one thing with power, forgive me because I can't remember who told me this. I'll put it in the notes if I remember later on. But there's one thing with power, that power begets power. Oh, it was a homeboy on HP. Anyway, power begets power. So when you have power and you get more power, it's like it's compounded. The same thing when you lose it. So those of y'all who are questioning because you don't like a person,
that's right,
and you're not going to vote for him. When we lose more power, it is hard. It's almost like I'm just gonna bite off. Not my favorite person, but hell, why not? Bill Maher. It's like a wrestling match. Okay, it's like a wrestling match. You can win. You can win like this. You can even win like this. You got some more biceps going on. But when your ass is down here, you ain't coming back. You ain't coming back.
And unfortunately, right? Because in that position, you get to start over. But for some of us, that's not true. Which is why
do we even get the right to start over? You can't even maintain this.
Which is why. So look, I heard from a brother, Eric Liu, recently. He said power is a practice. And I was like, yeah, and we need to practice being powerful. So sure, baseline, they need to hold the line. That's a lot of work for us. Okay. That's a lot of work for us, because I want to let you know that instead of being out here talking about the issues that people care about, Joe Biden is out here talking about locking up protesters. Okay. So when we talk about holding the line, that accountability work, just that baseline, basic thing that you're supposed to do is hard. It's going to be hard work for us. So if your criteria is, would I have this motherfucker over to my house for dinner? Hell nah. But you know what? Trump trying to make it so we in camps, and that's just facts on facts on facts.
This is the point that I was just about to bring up. So, oh Lord. So I work for a school district that has a partner that has many museums in the city. Many museums in the city. We are partnered with only one, and that is the Holocaust Museum. And so every student, every 10th grader in our district has to visit the Holocaust Museum. And because I was a 10th grade history teacher, I visited the Holocaust Museum multiple times, and I have many relationships with the staff there. They are absolutely fantastic. I will say inspirational, wonderful people.
That's right.
However, what I have learned is that there was a time when the Jewish people were in Germany and Italy and elsewhere.
That's right.
And they saw the writing on the wall.
That's right.
And they were saying, it's not going to be that bad. This is my home, right? I deserve to be here in Germany, right? And I can't shake that uneasy feeling, right? I deal with that on the daily. Like, am I fighting in a losing battle? Is this the time that I'm supposed to like gather up my things and hit it? Like, am I supposed to learn Spanish, right? And get below this border? Like, what is it that we are supposed to do? And in thinking about organizing, right? In thinking about fighting this fight, in thinking about voting, right? It's still a participation. And like, I still have faith in this system a little bit, like just maybe if we use our strength and our numbers, and maybe if we, get out the word to the people, and we can implore them, and we can work on their sensibilities and their sensitivities and their humanity.
That's right.
That they won't sit back and watch us be put into concentration camps and burned alive.
I have faith in the majority, and not so much the majority skin color, but the majority thought. I think a lot of times we give too much emphasis, or rather too much credit, to these narcissistic, small, power-hungry people who have been in the practice of living life in this manner. People who have whatever amounts of money, are so disconnected from the masses, the majority. Where, what was it that Bush and them didn't even know that, they have scanners in supermarkets now? This is like in the So, but I think that
I long for those days.
I know, right?
I want him back.
Well, they get annoying and rich. Not detrimental to our entire democracy and rich, or not even as much money. But the oh my God, girl, I had an army for it. I can't remember.
The majority, the faith in the majority.
Thank you. I have faith in the majority, because I think we give too much power to these people, as if they have this kind of power that is unyielding. You can't pierce it. It is bigger than the majority. The only thing that's holding that the majority is, of course, old school complacency to whatever degree, baseline fear, which it shows itself in all kinds of ways, whether it's just I don't want to hear nothing, I don't want to see nothing, I don't want to say nothing. Exactly. Or just, or then we got your regular ignorance. You know what I mean?
That's right.
They're all cousins of each other.
Well, I think this goes back to
people, quote unquote, empower. They're really not empowered. We, the people, in order to form.
Not again. We forming it for the first time.
Not we the crackers.
Oh yeah.
crackers wrote it, but it's not we the crackers. Whoever's the people right motherfucker now, that's who they're talking about.
Right. Well, this gets back to our conversation about why we have to build many more leaders.
Yes,
because actually, in this democracy, the gap between people and the decisions that our government makes is so wide. And so many of us are actually taught that somebody else is going to deal with it and that we can't impact it. So that is why having 1 million followers on Twitter doesn't fucking matter, because at the end of the day, if people don't see themselves as agents of change, that is the most dangerous environment for us to be in. So I agree with both of y'all. Like, to me, the majoritarian values in this country, I think, are not the same as the values of this president and his administration.
And his enablers.
And I have had the same thought about, do I have a plan? Is there anywhere for me to go? And
list.
I do think about that. And I caught myself watching Neruda the other day on Netflix.
Oh, Netflix. Yeah, Witch there.
And it was really powerful and also really scary. And in my mind, I was like, yeah, am I going to have to be scaling a mountain on a horse? You understand me with with my belongings and rolls on the side of my horse? I mean, is that what's happening right now? And I was like, okay, girl, you need to slow down and turn off this television. But at the end of the day, I'm not going out without a fight. I'm like, I built this just as much as these people did. So that's what's keeping me going.
Talk about the flip on the sense of ownership. We as people of color, need to have a sense of ownership. If Native Americans can be beat down, strict, basically all-out genocide, but still have a sense of ownership of this land, ownership of the future of this land, then as Black folks or other people of color, what the hell is our excuse? Why don't I got it. I get it. We just drag the fuck over here, as somebody's property. I get it. I ain't trying to minimize. I'm just saying. But why aren't we giving as much credit to that work done, though under duress, that this country would not exist? Words are not. Fuck a constitution. If bitches weren't fucking tilling the soil, there would be no economy.
Right.
And the fact that we were the kind of what is it? The not the apex. The what is that? The what do they call that? The not the tipping point, but the
catalyst.
Link joint. What do they call it? Like a link joint?
Oh, the fulcrum. Is it like the?
That works. for how this whether this functions in denial or not, if not, everything runs through us in this country. There's something powerful about that. Everything from culture to science to politics to whatever, social norms to fucking slang. Everything runs through our experience in this world. They can choose not to say that they share the fucking experience with us on the other side. They're a part of it too, but that's a problem. That's their problem.
That's right. And that's what they're scared of, to be honest. That's what they're scared of, to be honest. And if you notice all the things that are being attacked right now, it's like all around consciousness. So all the education stuff, this 1776 project, which I was like, you basic motherfuckers is so boring. I'm like, that's called actual American history that most kids are already fucking taught. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, probably a couple more lies in it, though.
Correct.
Well, also, then they have the whole movement to
race studies, right? Like, they're trying to take all these things out because they know that people's consciousness shifting is actually deeply dangerous to their power. Deeply dangerous. Like, so much of that resistance comes from people being like, your side of this shit don't make no sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they know it ain't nothing but 1 or 2 generations deep that are born into the world that you, young people, are creating right now.
That's right.
You are creating a father to grow some decent white folks. I mean, we gonna try. It may take a solid century more, but I'm saying that is something we're trying to form
I'm just worried about making sure our people is.
Yeah. I meant, you know, they're decent by way of us.
Yes, I understand.
It's gonna take them a while, but we need decency in this country to make a good country. That's the point I was trying to make.
Facts on facts.
You know, but
and we're only 12-13% of the population.
That's real.
Like,
that's real.
So much of what the majority includes is going to have to extend beyond racial lines.
That's right.
Like so much of who should be decent. Right?
That's right,
because we've placed the responsibility of decency on Black people before, and then they were just murdered in their Sunday clothes, right? Yes. And so I don't know how much I agree with that anymore, right?
Yeah, and also we fed. I mean, our ancestors nursed these folk at our breasts. And then they grew up and burned crosses on people's lawns. So
so okay. Mm-hmm.
I feel as if we have given immensely to this project, and now it's on white people. That's on white people to do what they got to do.
Yep.
But they need to move out the way. They need to move out the way. They need to move out the way. And if you want to come down to the protest, what you need to do is find yourself a Black person look like they're doing something. Yeah. Ask them, what can I do?
Don't even do that. Don't even do that.
So they'll come in and bum rush a show. Okay.
So here's the thing.
Bum rush a protest.
Right. I've battled with that thing as well. Because initially, as soon as Trump was announced president, I won't say won, but as soon as Trump was announced president, that was my first thought. All right, white people, this is your time to shine. You've been saying anti and post-racial. You've been saying like all of this other kind of stuff. This is where you are supposed to kick in and show what that really looks like. And I think that if I look at history, anytime that things got blurred racially, anytime people were really starting to come together and not really be about that, this generation for the most part has really shown that they're like anti-homophobic, they're anti-racist, they're like anti-sexist, they're a lot of that shit that used to be like really like strong in America. Right. However, when we see those times, I think about just in my lifetime, like just looking at in the 80s. In the 80s, when I was a child, I had Boy George and Michael Jackson on my wall. And my mother was very much like into like the Black Panthers and the Nation of Islam and like Black Revolution and all of that kind of stuff. But when things get blurred, then something happens that changes that dynamic, right? It's almost like it rips us back apart. And then we look at like what happened in the 90s with race relations and how Black people were demonized and with the crack era and all of this other kind of stuff. And we constantly get repositioned as the enemy, right? In certain ways. Like every time there is a blending, then this rip happens. And so I was prepared emotionally for it, right? I was prepared for it. But I think young people who believe that there is the possibility for good, like their hearts are broken right now. Right? They're having to look at people that they thought might be able to be their friends and be like, damn, can you? Right? They're having right. They invited their friends to the protest, and then their friend picked up a brick and threw it because they're mad, and they get to be mad and they get to express themselves and their anger in that way. They get to do that when they're happy. Right? They get to be like, my team won. Let me burn the city down. Woo! Right? And they're just rambunctious kids who had a little too much fun, right? And so when they show up in those spaces doing what they are fraught to do, what they are able and empowered to do, then it's detrimental to the movement because we have to be demure. We have to be calm and with a gun in our faces. Like we have to like keep all of our faculties when police are so afraid that they just have to shoot, right?
And even that sense of being forced in this box and kind of walking this line. Of course, there's some of us that don't give a flying fuck. But but essentially the movement is always walking this line because we want to be able to communicate clearly. But at the end of the day, what are we trying to express? What are we trying to communicate? That my auntie brain just lost it again. I swear to God, it just left, and it went to the bathroom.
I mean, let me pick up on the thread while you're
I had a point
to remember. I mean, I think the challenging thing here is I agree with this question. It's like who are we talking to and for what purpose?
Yes.
And for us, BLM, Movement for Black Lives, all of these different entities wasn't for the appeasing of white people, which I think is different. Because, again, BLM, people was like, that's too radical. Now defund the police, people are like, that's too radical. And I'm like, okay, well, they're different audiences that people are talking to.
Yeah.
And sure, if you are talking to white folks, especially the fragile ones, you probably would change what you have to say because ultimately you need to break people off, right? You need to understand that not all white people are going to come along, but also not all white people are not going to come along.
Yeah.
And so you vie for the people who you think you might be able to break off, who would support the building, right, ultimately, of a multiracial democracy. That's what we need. But at the same token, if a movement is only concerned with how fragile white folks are going to take things, and we have some of our people are fragile too, right?
No.
Did I say something wrong?
No, I don't think you did. I don't think you did.
That was next on the list.
So I feel like every generation has to be clear who they're talking to and why. And that's why that vision piece is so important. Like you got to know what it is that you're trying to build so you know who it is you're trying to bring along.
Yeah.
And not everybody's coming.
Okay, this is essentially what I guess remembered, and I want to use it to go into, because we are kind of in the middle of an overall vote campaign to try and encourage and empower young people to vote, all people, but young people in particular, and to understand. And one of the things we're fighting is apathy, right? And I want you to understand, if you're not clear, that the luxury of apathy is only afforded to you by a generation of young people that was not here for the bullshit, that was about voting. They flipped the car every now and then, but they was about that vote, honey. Okay, and that's the only reason you can sit back. It's like, I don't know if I like him. What's happening? How people following me today? The only reason you can do that. And with that being said, we're gonna move on to another part of the show because we really want to get the vote out.
Okay.
All right.
So we are just over a month before V-Day, right? The day when we, the people, get to maintain the ability to make a perfect union. And at Your Gay Aunties, we want to do our part to take our piece of the puzzle like Kalila did. And we just want to make sure that we help you find your belief in the vote.
So here you go. Let's wake up for a minute. All right. Just because one is woke doesn't mean they are not susceptible to apathy around voting. So we are your gay aunties, and that come in your room and to just wake your ass up. This current administration, and not for nothing, past ones have over time sown the seeds of apathy around voting, especially with the younger people. So as we resist the urge to snatch your ass up out of bed and drag your ass to the polls, we thought it might be better to encourage you this way. Just like when you were little, you first became fearful, then apathetic about the bully in school. Because your voice didn't matter then either, did it? Being bullied became a way of life, didn't it? You were too young to see that there is the life beyond the bully. You see, voting is just like that time when that one bully in school kept messing with you, right? Like it was, their religion. And because you were a gentle, queer, beautiful spirit, you held your tongue, you gave up your lunch money, you let that bully call you outside your name. That bully was so intimidating, they controlled how, even if you walked on the playground. You practiced cursing that bully out in the mirror, but never brought it to their face. You were living your entire childhood in fear, and that distracted you from thinking about when the ratchetness of childhood will be over. Then one day, it was a Tuesday, on the playground, and Cecilia Jackson, your bully, is making a spectacle out of your inability to stick up for yourself. But what your bully didn't know is that the night before, you had a little talk with your auntie, and she told you, with keys in hand, that the way you beat back fear is to stay in the face until fear can't look at you the same. So, darling, you just walk up to that bully, right, when everybody watching, and you kick them in the shins. Then you get to molly whopping their ass. And then she said, it don't matter. It don't matter if you win, because I didn't. But you can't stop swinging until they call me to come get you. The ills of society, y'all, like bullies, may never go away, but can be managed by setting and reinforcing your damn boundaries. And those boundaries are also respected, all right? We got to make sure those boundaries are also respected by all those kids who just sit around and watch you get your ass beat, okay? Because with bullies, it's not about winning a particular battle. It's about putting the fear in them that you will always show up swinging. All right?
Yes.
I love this.
Yeah. Early voting exists in over 2/3 of the country. Whether you show up in person, you do a mail-in ballot, absentee, like we did. Okay. We want to make sure that you know that we support you in this fight and that we are here to remind you of your civic duty. After you vote, take a picture with your I voted sticker or a selfie of you mailing in your ballot, and we will post it on our Instagram as a way for the YGA community to support each other in this great mollywop. Okay.
Because we trying to mollywop. I'm going to, I know I'm not a betting woman. Yes, I am actually, but I'm not really a betting woman. But I want to bet you against, I'm down to put, I ain't gonna put more than $1 for that motherfucker. I'm down to put $1 on the table that we the people are gonna mollywop that motherfucker right off. I want to see him go down in a particular way. I said it last one, and I'm gonna say it again because I want it to manifest. I don't even want him to go to jail, because what I think his ass, when his ass fucking gets mollywopped, right? And he's like, where I'm gonna go? They gonna come for me. He gonna try and run. And then he gonna run to Russia, and Putin gonna be like, "Oh, honey, no."
Oh, we're done with you, boo.
We done with you, honey. No. And then he gonna try and run somewhere else. They go like, "Oh, I think not." So I would like to see him in Antarctica. I want to see him.
I just keep hearing Cinnamon.
Okay. All right, you gonna rock. Nigga, you better get out of here. Okay, you better run to the ice block in Antarctica, because that's the only country that's gonna take you. All right, that being said, let's go out on some fun.
Yes, we promised too that we wouldn't just hold you in this tense space, that we would also give you some loose, let your hair down auntie space. Okay. And I want to give you that. I know that belly laughter is your self-care. Mm-hmm. And I want to honor that as you share space with us. Okay. And so what we want to do to ensure that is we want to share one of our viewer letters with you. Will you answer a letter with us?
Of course.
I'll grab this one. I'll grab this one.
Okay.
All right.
Here's your letter.
All right. Who this by? Is this? Oh, this is by. Did they say not to use their name, or can we use her name? Or I'm assuming I'm only saying her name because can I use their name? Do you think I use their name? They didn't say whether or not. Okay. But if you don't say, don't use it.
Yeah, we can.
All right. I'm assuming her because it's Yo-Yo, so I'm thinking of Yo-Yo.
Yeah.
Can't try to take me out. All right.
I love that was my first rap album.
Can I tell you a Yo-Yo story real quick? I know I'm totally this is left field, but every time she comes up, she's such a good spirit, right? When I was first signed, we all were in that same age, first signed. I remember I did the Impact Festival, right? It was a big festival in Jersey. It's like a New York music industry festival. Mm-hmm. And this was like one of my first times going. It was like me, Rozelle was up there. We was doing it, right? And we came, after we got off stage, we went behind stage, and the first person I saw was Yo-Yo and her girls like, who was that? Who was that? Amazing. Right? And I'm like, it's me. All right, I was a little bit hard. I was an MC, I'm saying? Yo, it's me. She's like, yo, sis. Yo, and she just gave me the best hug, like, welcome, we need more of us, like, boom, 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 boom. And anyway, I digress.
And the IBWC.
Right. I love that. Always a lover. All right, for that. Just that little moment in time. Anyway, so Yo-Yo. Hi, aunties. I saw a question online and I've been stuck on it. The question was, without blaming your ex, what should you have done differently in your last relationship? I've spent so much time being angry, hurt, and justifying not trusting anyone because of the pain my ex caused me. I still haven't pushed past that place to be able to honestly answer the question. So I guess my question is, does accepting that I also made mistakes release her of being responsible for how she treated me? Part 2, I feel like if I get to the place where I heal and forgive, then what makes it seem like what she did was okay. I'm not ready to do that. Lies, betrayal, and mental games are not okay. If no one holds you accountable for what you do, if no one holds you accountable for what you do, won't you go on doing it? Friends have said I need to forgive so I can move on, but I can't help but feel like forgiving isn't always the answer. Can I move on and heal without forgiving? So there's a couple of questions there.
There's a lot of questions.
I know, yeah. But just as somewhat summated, she basically, can I release her of being responsible for how she treated me? Am I able to do that? So essentially, can I heal without forgiving her? Because she's like, I don't know. And she if I don't tell her about herself, how else is she or he? I'm sorry, she just said she, right? It will be accountable.
I think it's she.
She, yeah. So how will she be accountable if nobody tell her about herself? Basically, if I don't.
Well, I don't think forgiveness is really about letting people off the hook. It's for you. I mean, forgiveness is about forgiving yourself for all the ways in which you may have allowed people to disrespect you. But it's also about saying to yourself, this part of my life has closed and I accept the things that happened here so that I can move on, heal, but also learn the damn lessons so you're not in that spot again. So that's that. Yeah. And frankly, accountability comes through relationship. And so if you're no longer in relationship with this person, you might be waiting for accountability for a long damn time. Exactly. So that's part of what you have to give up. It's like, if this person did you foul, they'll probably do somebody else foul too until they learn their lessons. But you don't actually have any control over that process. That's their process. You only have control over your own stuff.
And it's not your responsibility. Why are you so bent on that? You got to teach this person, or they never gonna learn their lessons. You know what? They never may. They may be 99 years old, still on some fuckboy shit.
That's exactly
okay.
That's exactly right. And we all know people like that. You know what I'm saying? So
okay. Age is truly a number. Only some of us actually grow the fuck up.
Yeah.
But that's why we're here to help you guys.
That shit hit me in my chest. That thing hit me in my damn chest.
Wait. I just realized that I'm missing something in this post show. Kiara.
Oh shit. Kiara.
Because I always love to hear, because our intern Kiara, or our producer, she was our intern, not our producer. I love hearing, the young perspective on these things as well. And you are so on it on a lot of points. Mm-hmm. But I go back to, I've spent so much time being angry and justifying not trusting anyone because of the pain my ex caused me. I can't decide where I was wrong. Right? Right. I can't even answer the question. Okay, don't blame your ex. What did you do wrong? I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing. She was horrible.
But she at least admits too that, I made mistakes and everything. Okay, what did she say? I spent so much time I still haven't pushed past the place of being able to honestly, I'm sorry, I can't remember what she said it. She said somewhere in here where, she admitted that, okay, she had some part in this. So again, then why are you holding on? Like this, this ain't got nothing to do with this person. I don't know who your ex is, but this letter right here don't got nothing to do with them.
That's right.
Okay.
You're in danger, girl. You need to go you need to go hit that therapist. You know what I'm saying? Hit that therapist, because it sounds like you in a loop that you can't get out of. And ain't no shame in going to see that therapist, but you in the damn loop. You in danger, girl.
And there's an anger there. Mm-hmm. And I only know it because I recognize it, and I've recognized it in myself. It's like, you're asking us, well, how can I forgive without forgetting that shit? And that's like, well, it's forgive and forget are actually two different things.
That's right.
You can't forget because until you become an auntie, you may forget some things, and that may be one of them.
That's
okay.
Right.
All right. Mm-hmm. But forgiving is an action. It is a practice. That's right. It is a ritual.
That's
just right. Like there's a ritual when you first met that motherfucker and they brought you out on a date, and that's a ritual. And it's like, when do I kiss first? That's a ritual. When do I fuck first? That's a ritual. And all that is ritual. So is getting over someone. All right. When you really, really want to get over someone, and and maybe you're not in a place where you can address it, you just want to just cut, just cut, burn a black candle and be done with it. Burn a black candle and be done with it. That means they ain't gonna wind up on your feed. You ain't gonna bump it into the street. You would tell the universe, I don't want to see them. I don't want to hear about them. Boom, burn the black candle. If along with that black candle, another ritual, you need to either sit with your people or sit whatever your faith is or whatever, and say, well, listen, I need to sit with the angst and the anger of the time wasted. Did I waste my time? Did I learn anything out of this? I really need some value out of this motherfucker, because the good dick is not enough. I need to know if my time has value. And that is how, and that ritual of not staying in the loop of your own mind, actually either talking to your best friend or your faith, you need to move through that.
That's right. That's right. And the only person who can answer that question about is your time valuable is you in the practice, right? So, your folks will tell you, keep a cool head and don't burn the shit down. Okay?
Yeah.
But beyond that, cats be like, look at yourself. Do you think your time is valuable? Because if you do, then quit playing games with this and any other thing that smells, tastes, touches like it, or feels like it, because this sounds like a mess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Kiara, what do you see?
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, you're muted.
You muted, girl. See, she didn't Janelle.
Technical issues. That's why it took me so long to come up in here, because I'm just like, I don't know, my connection is kind of shaky. But I keep on looking at the part where she said something about I also made mistakes, and does that release her of being responsible for how she was treated and everything? But I feel like you should always look at yourself. Like, you should be looking at the mistakes that you made. And that doesn't mean that they weren't responsible for the things that they did, but you were responsible for setting those boundaries. You were responsible for, knowing when it was time for you to get out of something. You saw all the things that were happening and decided to stay there. So I agree with you guys that it's definitely looking like a therapeutic. She needs some therapy and to work all that out and to really, work through the things that are going on within herself and let go of that person. Because clearly the issues weren't just about the relationship. There was something else going on there that was allowing you to stay in that and to allow all of that to keep coming into your space. So do the work on yourself, and then, just don't really think about the situation. Forgive them for what they did, but think about your part in it and how you need to, fix that for the future. But that's what I'm like.
Yeah. I agree, because she said, my friends told me I need to get over this.
Which is how you know this shit is a whole ass mess. Like, that's exactly how you know. You make your friends' ears bleed, because
and it's just connecting this forgiveness to, like, I don't want her to think that what she did to me is okay. Guess what? She not only thinks it's okay, she ain't probably not even thinking about you. And I don't mean cold like that. You're saying, but the longer you stay connected to this person and want to hold on, the more she don't think about you. I'm sorry. And it's painful, but maybe you need to hear it. She ain't thinking about you. And if she is, it's probably not something good. Okay? So why keep this energy, in your life? And and between forgiving and it's okay. Okay, whatever she did, it probably wasn't okay. But guess what? A lot of motherfuckers in your life are gonna do shit. And you're like, that shit wasn't okay. It's gonna happen again. And again and again. But you know what? You have control of how you react to it, how you grow from it. That's like little fucking what they call them, the ill-tasting gifts. Like say, eat this, it's delicious. And you're like, sure. You're like, motherfucker.
But I think in this situation, it's the opposite. It's like when people are like, oh my God, this is horrible. Taste it, right? You know.
I lick it.
You already know going into the situation, right? You know that there's a possibility for the shit to be bad and to go awry. Like that is the chance that you take, right? When you partner with people. Sometimes you know them well enough to know what their character is like, and sometimes we don't take that time. We don't want to take that time, lesbians. And so then you're in a relationship with a person and you're just learning them. Maybe you learn great things about them once you're in the relationship. Maybe you learn they're jackasses. It's all like a game of chance, I guess, at that point.
Yeah.
But and something, and we'll just kind of maybe round it off, but it's something, and we've said it on the show so many times. Don't nobody owe you nothing. I don't care if you've been married to them for a few years. At the end of the day, you are a part of their journey. They are a part of your journey. And when the journey is over together, they don't owe you nothing. All they owed you is the time you can reflect on the time spent. Stop thinking people owe y'all. So I don't care how fucked up they are, y'all. Stop thinking people owe you anything, because they don't. I mean, unless they owe you some money. Yeah. That's the only measurable, tangible thing. But that's what small claims court is for.
That's facts.
Yeah,
that's facts.
Well, Yes, thank you, Yo-Yo, for trusting your gay aunties with your situation. I get that you are struggling. It comes through in your letter that this is a situation that you are really struggling with, and I hope that all of us here have been able to give you some insight, and that you will be able to forgive, even if you're not ready to forget, just so that you can get some clarity and stop punishing everybody for something that somebody else has done to you in the past.
Your friends gonna get tired of you still hanging on. They told you to let go. They told you to let go.
They don't stop talking to you about it.
That's real talk. That is real talk. That is real talk. When you start hearing that deep sigh,
or when they
like word, yeah, I know. Yeah. Fucked up.
Okay. And they're like, up at this point because you just talked about the same thing.
Calls are getting screened, topics being changed, you know.
Right. Well, what you wearing on Friday?
Correct.
Just sitting there like, wait,
yeah, girl, I hear you. So you go to the protest. You voting, right? You voting.
But did you vote? That's what's important.
All right, y'all. This show has been incredible, as we knew it would be. You know, we really try and come to y'all and give what we can. All right, as we be starting to put on our crowns in life, and with that comes the responsibility of giving guidance to those who are walking the way that we already did, and glad that we don't got to do it no more. All right. But we also are learning together. So we try to present as much as we can on the show. And if you want to support your gay aunties, all right, I need you to check us out on patreon.com/your gay aunties. We have so many incredible tiers over there that you probably haven't seen anywhere else. And all these tiers lead to you being a part of the show. That's what it's about. So just going over to patreon.com/your gay aunties.
Yes. We have a question just for Auntie Alicia.
Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped a beat. Sorry.
I didn't know if we wanted to address this one.
You know what? Let's do it. It goes. It's a nice general question. It's a BLM question, but it's a nice general question. I thought it was thoughtful. And then we'll say our goodbyes. All right. So this is from Forgetful Theorist. Okay. All right. Intellectual. Yes. That can't remember nothing. Right? All right. What is the most detrimental? What is the most detrimental misconception of the BLM movement?
That's a great question. I don't know. I wanted to say something pithy and smart, but I will just say, I'll just say on half a cup of coffee that I think the most detrimental misconception about the BLM movement is that BLM somehow hates Black cisgender hetero men.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I literally, this is a question that I decided not to ask it. I said, I'll fuck the niggas. But then, and I wondered, you know, did you ever feel, but it's ironic that three Black queer women essentially started the momentum, okay? With the season of momentum of the Black Lives Matters movement. But then I started seeing some kind of co-opting, like, you know how brothers do. Yes, wait, and there was a point I was like, I remember I was online at a point saying, you know, Black women started this shit.
Yeah.
In the middle of random comment thread. You know, Black women started that shit. How did you guys deal with that energy? And in your own ego, not for nothing.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, right? Because I got two quick stories I want to tell. You know, I was having a conversation with somebody the other day. I'm not going to say who it was.
Mm-hmm.
But they were saying, essentially, I'm good with gay people. I feel like gay people get a lot of representation and straight people are being left out of the conversation. And I was like, I mean, literally there was like smoke coming out of my ears, and not from being angry, but because I was like, really? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? But I think that what happens in change, okay, so when I'm being my most diplomatic, I think what happens in change and processes of change is that people get jarred when things get transformed, right? So the fact that you are seeing more queer people on TV, the fact that you are seeing more queer people out in your circles, in your workplaces, in your whatever, I mean, I think people are trying to make sense of it. That's me being diplomatic. Do I think that like gay people run the world? No. But this is what some of our brethren believe, because they're used to a world, right, where we were quiet and closeted, and
they were the star of the show,
and the roommate, right? The roommate, you know. And like I had said to this person, I said, you know, what's so funny about this is that, first of all, it's just not true, and second of all, I think all Black people have the experience, Black people in America, let me say this, where we've been talking about queerness in our families without talking about queerness. So I don't know a Black person in America who don't have a family member who've been living with the same person for 30 damn years and it's their roommates, but it's only a one bedroom. I mean, like, what?
Wake up.
They try to save some money. They budgeting. They budgeting.
You know what I'm saying?
They budgeting some.
So that's one story that I want to tell, which is just, yeah, it's complicated. Second story I want to tell, though, is this. You know, when we're talking about this election cycle, the group that this president is going after the hardest is cis Black men. And it's on the basis, right, that number one, they don't really care about you. We care about you. And some of it is actually preying on this deep insecurity that I just described, which is that in a lot of ways, I think it is threatening for some cishet Black dudes that BLM is led by women and queer folk and trans folk. And in fact, I've heard people say to me directly, like, I would be supportive of it, but...
And then we sit here, we wonder, and we are just so, we wonder why poor white people vote against their best interests, because it taps into the same insecurity, the same nonsense of erasure.
That's absolutely right. And we don't, I mean, if anything, I would say we still have so much work to do as a movement to really build the kind of infrastructure we need to deeply support Black queer folks and Black trans folks. And so in a lot of ways, the dangerous misconception is that Black cishet men are getting left behind. And it's both dangerous for the prospects of a broader unity, but it's also dangerous in the sense that it has created a vulnerability that opportunists are exploiting to their own advantage. And some of us aren't hip to the shit enough to understand that we being played, but they're making people feel powerful. So that's a lesson for us as well.
Come on.
Sorry to leave it on that tip. But
no. I just want my people free, but sometimes my people but I think at least for V-Day, for November 3rd, for that day, all of y'all are my people, okay? And I need all of y'all to find your way to the ballot. Actually, you need to get just do early voting. Like, let's just cut the bullshit, okay? Because it's all about the night of, okay? And what happens after the night of is what gets the ball rolling for whatever kind of crap they got coming down. All right. So we are strong enough so that all the votes are counted, whether you voted the day of or all those weeks prior, they all gonna get counted that night.
That's right.
So if we all early vote, then we can maybe see send that motherfucker packing, and we don't got to deal with this long. And then the rest of it's just like more blue, more blue, more blue.
That's right. That's
okay?
right.
That's what I'm betting my dollar on anyway.
That's right. Facts. Facts on facts on facts.
Yes. And if you haven't filled up the census yet, you got to Wednesday, fools. Wednesday. Be counted.
Do it.
That's how the House of Representatives is formed.
Do it. Please.
Every 10 years.
I'm like, please.
and the next 10 years, some of you are going to have children. In the next 10 years, some of you are going to be going to college. In the next 10 years, some of you are going to be collecting AARP. Mm-hmm. Okay? What's going to happen in the next 10 years? What you do? Okay, voting in the census. Please, y'all. Get on it. Get on it. Get excited.
Thank you so much, Alicia, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
I wanted to ask before we leave, you have a book?
I do.
I know I get really excited about stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't ask about her book, right?
It's pretty excellent. It's pretty excellent. It's called The Purpose of Power, How We Come Together When We Fall Apart.
That title, girl, stop.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
It took me a long time, and I had to have a lot of help because, people, you know how it goes too. It's like, there's you as the author who wants to communicate something very specific. And then there's, the people who want to sell it. And so they're like, it has to say BLM. And I'm like, it's not going to say BLM. So it's been a tug of war. But part of what I think the title does is it talks specifically to what I think we build movements for, which is power. Mm-hmm. And the purpose of power actually is to bring us together and have us live together in a way where people can live well and live free. So I wanted to really focus us on the question of power, because so much of what we've been focused on in a lot of ways is like self-esteem and empowerment, or like representation as power, which it is and it's not. So this book is part memoir, right? So that I am not preaching at anybody. I'm really describing how I've come to understand what I think I know now, what I have absolutely no idea about, what I'm like unlearning, right? Like all of that is in the book. And it's just intended to be a model for how each of us can think about how to be a better steward for the world that we want to see. So it's out October 20th, but it is definitely on pre-sale, and you can get it everywhere you get your books. But please buy from an independent bookseller, and you can do that at bookstop.com.
Independent Black bookseller, even better.
Please.
And if you guys don't know, Alicia also has a great podcast called Lady Don't Take No. All right. Politics and beauty tips, honey.
What I mean? My pandemic podcast that I didn't know I needed, but you actually do need it. I mean, yeah, I have a thing about being political that is important to me. And it is that politics shouldn't be boring. We should deeply understand where we fit inside of it. And politics don't have to be so damn rigid. Politics is shaping us all the time. And so that includes pop culture. It includes the personalities bit, right? So every week where you used to have a commute, we are talking to some of the greatest change makers in this country and pulling back the curtains, right? Not just talking about their organizational work, but we are talking about what makes them who they are. And in doing so, I hope we're able to connect people to what is inside of them that are leadership qualities. We also do a weekly digest of all the wildest things happening in the political realm. And so every week you hear from me what Lady just ain't gonna do. There's a lot of those.
Yes.
And you also hear from me the things that Lady's loving every week. And that includes pop culture, politics, beauty tips, all the things. So tune in. We're everywhere you can find your podcasts, and we haven't missed a Friday yet. So come on and join us.
Yeah. This podcast is getting us through as well. This podcast gets us through too.
Oh, I'm in love with this podcast. So there's that too.
And I wasn't going to say anything, but I know you don't listen to a whole lot of podcasts, so
I
we
don't.
feel special.
I don't really like podcasts like that, even though I have one. I feel like they'd be boring and shit. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, but not this one. This one, I'm like, oh yes. Somebody needed to say that shit. Yes, thank you. Also, thank you for helping me embrace my auntie status. That has been my project of the last few years, and I feel like I'm really settling in.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes.
That is beautiful.
I'm officially in the category of old enough to know better.
And to say it, and ain't scared to say it, and ain't scared
not
to
at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Yes, well,
all right then.
It's been so good to be here with y'all.
Oh man, this has been incredible.
Yes, it is great to have you. And so listen, next week, everyone, we will be welcoming.
Well, the week after next. The week after.
Oh yes, the next week that we meet. Right. The next week that we are together, because we are bi-weekly now. We will be welcoming Avery R. Young to the show. So this power poet and groomer of power poets will be with us to share his stories, and he's going to be bringing along some wordsmiths from this next generation, to share their stories with us as well. So if you have some words that you want to share with our Uncle Avery R. Young, send them to us at yourgayaunties@gmail.com, or just like you did today, you can inbox us or DM us. Bam, because I'm catching up on Instagram at Your Gay Aunties, and just make sure that you are there for this awesome occasion. I know some of us, we get sensitive about poetry. We don't want to share it. We don't know if we like it. This, you don't want to miss. You do not want to miss. I have seen him bring down houses with Nikki Giovanni sitting in the front row. Snapping and clapping. Okay. So this is absolutely going to be an amazing show and a good time for us to spend time with one of our uncles.
Yes.
I am excited. And so I just wanted to say to all of you all who are out there who are listening, I know this is a stressful time. Spend some time with your aunties. That's what we're here for. Just come on by, get some of this good love that we got, this good word that we have for you. This is why we are here. We love to serve you in this way. And with that, I will say, I am Red Summer.
I'm Hanifa Nalita.
I'm Kiara Sheree.
I'm Alicia Garza.
And we are your gay aunties.
Blessings, baby.